Hello and welcome to this Connections Reimagined session about insurance innovation in Europe. I'm very pleased to host 3 insurance innovation and thought leaders from 3 different countries today. First, we have Rafał Mosionek. He's the president of the management board of BeSafe in Poland. Then, I'm very pleased to welcome Sten Wung-Sung. He's director of finance and development claim Denmark at Tryg in Denmark. And then last but not least, we have Andrea Kova. He's the technology domain manager at Conte.it in Italy. They all approach insurance innovation with different strategies in the face of different market conditions and requirements, and I'm excited to hear about their experience and their visions for the future of insurance. Rafał, let's start with you. And would you please describe briefly the most important innovation areas within the Polish insurance market?
Thank you for your question. Polish insurance market still underdeveloped compared, for example, to banking industry in Poland. We have great financial services delivered by banks with very innovative and state-of-the-art solutions, which are also easy to recognize at European level. For insurance, however, this is still the path to go. Looking at last few years, majority of effort in insurance company was focused on existing customer journey improvement. We invested a lot in automation, implementation of different solutions which focus on higher customer centricity, application of modern technology like robotics, like artificial intelligence in order to make our operations much more efficient and much more friendly from the customer perspective. On the other hand, take into consideration experiences from last year when we had quite difficult pandemic time in the whole world, I believe there are a lot of new ideas on the market right now which can change the way how insurance cooperate with partners and how insurance serve their customers. One of those innovation is also our startup, BeSafe, which I believe delivered one of the most interesting customer value proposition currently available on Polish market.
Sten, Tryg is a leading insurer in one of the digitally most sophisticated regions globally, Scandinavia. What are the main areas for innovation in such a market?
If I should mention 3 areas right now where we see a lot of innovation in the Scandinavian market, I would say product innovation is one big area where we see a lot of different things happening in the market right now. Sustainability is another huge area. And then we have organizing less silo and more outside in towards the customer is also something to consider as a trend right now. Going back to product innovation, we see an increased competition, not only from traditional insurance companies, but also car manufacturers and new players that forces us constantly to innovate both product and services. Together with the fact that cars and houses will become better and safer, we foresee a decline in those product lines in the future. So instead of just competing on price, we try to make the whole cake bigger, so to speak, and come up with something to counter it. Looking at organization, less silo and more outside in, customers expect counseling about the insurance conditions when they are in contact with us. They don't care about how we are organized in sales and claims, and we see a clear tendency in organizing towards handling all contact points in the same units, at least when it comes to simpler claims. It also reflects a trend going for the agile way of working, where we organize in value streams instead of the traditional silos. I briefly touched upon sustainability, and I will come back to that later in the session.
Andrea, now let's take a look at your home market, Italy. Tell us a bit about the insurance market in general and what you think the 2 to 3 key innovation areas are.
Hi René, it's a pleasure to be part of this customer innovation panel. The Italian motor insurance market is still quite a traditional one. The digital direct channel, mainly led by price comparison websites, still struggles to gain ground, and customers are frequently accustomed to turn to brokers and intermediaries for their policies. In this period of coronavirus pandemic, the insurance companies are facing relevant challenges. The global financial and healthcare crisis and the highly competitive market from a commercial and technological point of view require a constant focus on research and innovation. With the context of claims frequency significantly reduced by recurring lockdown measures and an average premium at a historical low, obviously also expenses need to be carefully monitored. Among the key innovation areas that will represent predominant trends in the market, for sure a leading role is played by data-driven propositions. Thanks to the smart usage of data ensured by artificial intelligence, machine learning, and predictive analysis technologies, it will be possible to offer to the customers a service always more tailored to their needs and preferences. In parallel, the digital transformation will steadily progress, taking into consideration all the possible touchpoints with the customer and enriching the engagement through new innovative interaction opportunities, like the ones offered by chatbots and virtual assistants. A third key area is finally represented by the strong transition towards an API architecture strategy based on microservices, emphasized also by the entrance into the insurance market of several new players. The possibility to integrate easily new commercial partners will become a crucial enabler for innovation.
Thank you, Andrea. So, you launched a new digital agent channel with Guidewire. Tell us a bit about how this initiative will help Conti to innovate.
Approximately 2 years ago, in parallel to the usual direct channel, Conte.it was looking for other distribution channels to keep up with its growth ambitions. The traditional distribution channel of brokers and intermediaries was therefore a clear business opportunity. Conte was already in the Italian agents and brokers market after a trial period started in 2017 with a wholesale broker, the top price comparison website in Italy, Facile.it. But the company's strategy was to build a network on the entire Italian territory. Searching for the best foundation for a platform dedicated to intermediaries, an outstanding option was obviously represented by the Guidewire digital suite that was offering, with its producer engage module, the majority of the capabilities required for an MVP launch of the channel. The level of maturity offered by this component, the smooth API integration with the Guidewire insurance suite that we had already adopted since several years, and the possibility to manage the platform on AWS Cloud drove us to this decision. A decision that has been very effective from both a technical and commercial point of view. In only 6 months, from inception to production go live, a product tailored on intermediaries' channel peculiarities with a dedicated brand, Conte Special, fast and lean processes, customized user experience, underwriting processes and rating logics, was live. In a short period of time, more than 500 intermediaries have joined the newly born network, satisfying the needs of customers that we had not been previously able to reach towards the direct channels. From that first release, after 1 year and a half, the product has evolved in terms of new functionalities, and the channel has grown accordingly, increasing sales in a sustainable way. These have been only the initial steps of a very important innovation for Conte's future, born thanks to the strong synergy with Guidewire.
Rafał, you have launched a complete new digital brand with BeSafe in Poland within 4 months. How will this drive innovation?
In BeSafe, we had a great opportunity to build our platform totally from scratch, using the best technology we believe will help us in the future to drive innovation much faster than other competitors in Poland. We implemented fully cloud-native insurance solutions, focusing on quite unique customer value proposition. I believe few months after our commercial launch, we set new standards on Polish market. And as we know, there are some competitors who want just to follow our way to deliver the easiest and most convenient solutions on the market for our customers. Take into consideration our opportunity, we would like to focus in the future on extension our product offer through implementation value-added services which are also unique on the market and currently not available. We also believe our technology, which can be the key success factor for the future in our company, will help us to use power of data and easiness to scale up very, very fast. Our ability to shorten time to market, very, very impressed all our competitors, and I believe we will surprise them a lot in the future as well.
And now, Sten. Tryg has a big focus on customer satisfaction and automation. How do you address those two areas momentarily?
Talking about customer satisfaction, we spend a lot of effort working with customer satisfaction, and we do it because profitability is twice as high when customers are staying for a long time compared to customers just shuffling around. So the difference in retention between very satisfied and average satisfied customer, 90 on the retention versus 80. So we believe that satisfaction is very important to support retention. In more concrete terms, we have several agile teams working dedicated to address improvements in one or more of our customer contact points. For example, it could be how to increase customer experience in the phone contact or in the online FNOL. We use data from speech analytics to help employees, managers, and coaches with insights of where to improve the dialogue, and it helps us to train and coach much more effectively and with higher effect. And something we are really proud of. Last year in June, we went live with our virtual coach, Anna, we called her, built on speech analytics data. And Anna provides employees with direct feedback from the customer dialogue, and based upon the use of A/B testing, we're constantly looking into what works and what does not. All that data is translated into feedback and provided directly to the employees by Anna. It means that employees on the fly, without necessarily being trained or coached or told, are able to focus on the most important areas to improve. And just briefly about automation, we have this saying, everything goes STP unless it drops off to manual handling. That's both a mental way of addressing automation, but it also reflects the principles behind the new rule engine we have created in close collaboration with Guidewire. Again, we have agile teams dedicated to create automation rules directly into Guidewire, and we have teams working with advanced analytics outside Guidewire to address fraud and STP as well. We call it digital claims, and we see it as a new generation of claim handlers using data analytics to handle claim digitally.
Mange tak, Sten. And now, what is the next for Tryg on its innovation journey?
René, it's a bit like the three innovation areas in question one, but let me elaborate about production innovation and sustainability. As I said, making the cake bigger instead of just competing hard on price is what we're trying to do. So looking at product innovation, the whole welfare area is changing these years. And as you all might know, we have a pretty large public welfare sector in Scandinavia. And we see a need amongst people to get better and better welfare when they're getting old. A lot of people are really afraid to rely on what they get on a public care home. And they are afraid because, well, let's see, today, if you're offered a bath every 14th day and like cleaning every single month, you might be willing to pay for more frequent, higher quality. The question is how to transform a traditional service into an insurance product. And this is a hot topic right now, and we see a huge need in a growing market. And then about sustainability. Another big innovation area for Tryg in the coming years is the whole sustainability agenda. René, as I mentioned earlier, sustainability is another big innovation area for Tryg in the coming years. Should I take a concrete example, is how to address loss spending, ensuring that our windows are green, but also being sustainable by the choice of repairing instead of just replacing with a new one. We see a lot of auto repair shops are good at replacing a car bumper with a new one instead of repairing the old one. With the new technology of today, it's actually possible to repair and thereby contribute to a sustainable environment. We also try to actually influence companies we invest in to become more sustainable. And of course, the last thing I will mention is just claim automation is a huge innovation area for us as well in Tryg in the coming years.
Andrea, what about Conti? How will you continue your innovation journey in the Italian insurance market?
In Conte, dynamism and innovation are really part of our DNA. We never stop experimenting to foster our evolution. While we constantly continue to dedicate focus to our historical areas of excellence and competitive advantage, like claims management, pricing and quality of the service, we do not stop looking forward. First of all, customer centricity is our mantra, and we want to radically improve the user experience of our digital customers. Digitalization will undoubtedly represent one of the key words of the next years. In every possible touchpoint, we want to astonish customers with lean processes, optimized solutions, and a smart look and feel. We are also going to push for an omni-channel approach, deeply understanding the customer's needs and transforming any possible moment of interaction into an excellent service. In parallel, we are exploring various product offerings to expand beyond our traditional auto and moto insurance proposition in order to delight our customers with a real multi-product vision. How to make all this innovation journey possible? With a strong adherence to agile principles. Agile methodology has accompanied all our challenges during the last years, representing a very powerful boost for our company growth and technology evolution. 1 year ago, notwithstanding the pandemic, we also launched the transition to a scaled agile organization with the full integration of business and IT professionals into our agile teams. Its amazing results are already appearing, but we are fully sure that the best is yet to come.
Rafael, last but not least, I know you said you don't want to spoil any surprises, but tell us a little bit about the next steps on BeSafe's innovation journey, please.
Our next step is to significantly improve existing customer journeys and create new standards on the market like we did in case of onboarding. We strongly believe insurers in Poland still have a lot to do in order to make insurance painless for the customers, especially during the claims handling process and other post-sales services. We also believe that the power of our technology, the hundred of ideas which we have, will surprise the market in the future as well, like we did a few months ago, launching our startup commercially. From my perspective, when we meet again in a couple of months, I will be able to share with you some insights, which solution created by our company is again repeated by our competitors as a totally game changer on the market.
Dziękuję bardzo, Rafael, for your very interesting insights. Mange tak Steen and grazie mille, Andrea, for joining this panel as well as sharing your thoughts and strategies with us. We learned a lot about the importance of customer centricity, with main drivers being convenience, speed, and transparency. We also heard about the ability to adapt to market changes quickly and being able to launch product in a fast way. At the same time, we heard that the utilization of advanced data sources and data analytics is going to play an essential role in insurance innovation now and in the future. Cloud will be an essential technology to serve the three main imperatives of insurers: engage, innovate, and grow efficiently. And as you know, with Guidewire Cloud, you are able to make your next upgrade your last upgrade, launch new products fast, and leverage closed-loop analytics to drive insights.